Welcome to another kind of like things in a way. These are my top like 10. These are my 10 things that I consider to be wrong with Secret Wars. Not in a particular order, it could be 10, 15, but I think 10, 15 is usually the highest I want to go with it. Okay? Alright, before I talk about Secret Wars itself, I want to talk about the stuff that led up into Secret Wars. Time runs out. A lot of it dealt with basically just most of it, like the first half of the whole thing is just like Steve basically, for some reason, I'm not sure exactly why Hickman decided to do this, and this only happened in 2 books, just Avengers New Avengers, which books he was writing. For some reason, after the original Sin tie-in for Avengers, the books decided to jump ahead 8 months. Do not know why. It is like jumping ahead. Yeah. As for the reason Hickman did this, never explained. Also, about halfway through the story, they had it where while they were trying to hunt down the Illuminati because of all the incursions that have been happening, basically the Illuminati tries to stop a particular incursion happening by trapping the Cabal, basically formed by Namor, which was prior to this in the period of New Avengers, which had made Wakanda their base operation after they like raised the country of Wakanda. They basically made it ruin. Yeah, yeah, they made the country ruin. So yeah, um, okay, yeah, and then all of a sudden they decided to move them to another planet and sort of blow that one up. But somehow the Cabal survive, and they ended up in the Ultimate Universe. They say it was like the third planet possibility. As far as I know, none of the group have got teleporters, and none of the members are teleporters. How they got there is completely unexplained. And also, somehow they meet up with Ultimate Reed Richards and Hickman. I mean, this is one of my biggest complaints about Time Runs Out. The very little amount of time spent in the Ultimate Universe. Yes. I keep wondering though, what would basically be Namor's, like 616 Namor's reaction seeing someone he's known for years to be a rival for a woman he's been in love with? A woman he's been in love with for years, where he's been like, this guy has been a rival for Sue's affections. Like, what was his Ultimate Universe counterpart like? I know he's met other versions of Reed Richards, but he's never met this one. Did Hickman ever bother to actually share and have these two exchange any dialogue? The answer is no. He did not. That is one of my biggest complaints about Time Runs Out, is the fact that two particular characters who in the 616 universe have known each other since the 60s, where you have Namor, Thanos, Maximus the Mad, Black Bolt's brother, Black Swan, Crispus Glove, that's really his name, and Proxima Midnight get transported to the Ultimate Universe. And do you know how much panel time, like, do you know how many pages of the whole Time Runs Out thing you got a chance to see the Ultimate Universe? Like, maybe 5, 6 pages tops. It's like Hickman could not be bothered to ask somebody to write a mini-series, like showing like what is the Cabal's reaction to the Ultimate Universe. Yeah, and also when you have people like we have Nick Fury and Hawkeye meeting up with members from 616 Universe, and the only people they exchange dialogue with is Thanos and Maximus the Mad. I'm like, what the heck is your problem, Hickman? Like, I'm sure a lot of people, when they're reading Time Runs Out, and people who have read the Ultimate Universe and seen what Reed Richards has done, like, having these two particular characters exchange dialogue is really dumb. Like, not having these two exchange dialogue the entire time Time Runs Out was going on, and you don't bother to actually write a particular page of them exchanging dialogue, or I don't know, how about a one-shot of them basically reacting to the Ultimate Universe? Oh, couldn't bear to do that because we having two books. Maybe, or I don't know. Maybe you could have. You couldn't ask Brian Michael Bendis. You could ask any writer at Marvel, like, give him your notes of what you're going to be planning to do when Time Runs Out, and basically have a one-shot, have the Cabal reacting to the Ultimate Universe. Did that happen? No. Because Hickman was lazy when it came to the Ultimate Universe. Okay? That's my overall first problem with Secrets. On Facebook. Alright, that's my first problem with Secret Wars. That's just with Time Runs Out stuff. That does count. Overall, there's really no other thing wrong with Time Runs Out. It's a pretty decent thing. But I consider both those two things basically a problem. Okay. Number 2. Issue 1 of the series, where a lot of people were claiming that it was really boring to read. Hickman is known for putting in lots of dialogue in his books. Okay? I personally didn't have a problem with the issue. In particular, my problem is that you had... The first issue felt like it was rushed. Yes. That's my biggest problem with issue 1. And also, it kind of felt like in issue 0. It should have been issue 0, not issue 1. Issue 2 felt like more like issue 1. Yeah. That's my problem with it. Okay. Number 2. The pacing. Yes. One of Secret Wars' biggest problems is pacing. Like, wow. The pacing is atrociously bad. It takes a while for something. It takes a while for something to happen. Like, for example, it takes to issue 4 for the story to advance forward, because when you read the 9 issues of Secret Wars, you're probably thinking that Hickman would have plenty of time to advance his plot forward. Instead, he drags his feet throughout the whole thing. Okay? A lot of people can probably agree with me on this, that one of Secret Wars' biggest problems was its pacing. It was so slow. Like, issue 2 had pretty good pacing. And then you came to issue 3, it's like, okay, let's just take very tiny baby steps trying to progress the story forward. And then finally, issue 4, you finally have an advancement of the plot. And then you have issue 5, slow, 6, and then pretty much most of the remaining issues up until you get to issue 7. Like, for the next couple issues, once again, the plot slows down for some reason, despite the fact that these issues are double-sized. Yeah, these issues are longer. That's it. Facebook. Anyways, yeah, that's one of the biggest problems. Okay, number 4. most of the tie-ins really not really counting as part of progress the story forward. Yeah, because like there are some good tie-ins, and plus there's some really bad ones. I would say like a lot of people might agree or disagree with me around this, but artistically wise, the two books out of all the tie-ins that had really bad artwork is 1602 Angela Witch Hunter and E is for Extinction. Oh my gosh, the artwork was atrociously bad in that miniseries. Though these miniseries were in fact almost all of them were pretty good, but there were some bad, really, really bad ones. Um, Plus, some of them basically really bad, really yeah. Some of these tie-ins, which is part of the problem with the tie-ins, some of them had really bad conclusions. It's like I kind of agree with this on some of the tie-ins, but not all of them. Where it's like some of the tie-ins were progressing really good throughout most of them, and then the last issue is just like it's like the writers for some of these books had no idea how they concluded, so they just came up with an ending that comes completely out of nowhere. I mean, had good conclusions to it, like Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. That had a good conclusion. So did Old Man Logan. Uh, Guardians of Nowhere. Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde. Yeah, these had good tie-ins. These were good tie-ins, and they were great, and they also had good conclusions. Inhumans Atlan Rising, it had a pretty decent conclusion, but definitely was a good miniseries. So was X-Men 92. That was good. A lot of them are really good. Just some of them just had really like. It's like the writer just really dropped the ball when it came to these conclusions. Uh, but one that basically really suffered through this one is Ultimate End. The miniseries was supposed to end the Ultimate Verse and ended up being just a tie-in to Secret Wars. Did it really end the Ultimate Verse? No, it didn't. Its biggest problem was that, well, pretty much the first four issues were actually pretty good for the series. It's the last issue that's the problem. See, I'll talk about one of the other problems with it. The biggest problem with the issue is that when you read it, you're like, what the heck did I just read? Because of the entire miniseries, issue 5 is the worst one. Despite the fact that the best thing about the issue is Mark Bagley's great artwork for the issue, its biggest problem is the writing, where you have some fighting between the 616 heroes and the heroes from the Ultimate Universe fighting, and all of a sudden Miles Morales shows up, and it turns out, yeah, this is Miles Morales that been showing up in Secret Wars. Yeah, he just stops it, and then it turns to like several pages of talking heads. If you don't believe me, look up Ultimate End number 5. Yes, it had talking heads, and then it ended with read Spider-Man number 1, something like that. Okay, so you read these 5 issues, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first 4 issues are actually pretty good, though some people might disagree with me on issues 2 through 4. But I thought the first 4 issues are actually really good. When you come to the final issue, it's like Bendis really had no idea what to do, so he just came. It kind of felt like that maybe because of what I'm going to explain later with this, that maybe there was many changes to the script. My guess is the issue must have had editorial change. to help promote his book, which he did right afterwards. Um, yeah, yeah, we helped it right after that. Which was experimental, which still is, yep. Um, yeah. All right, that was number 3. Number 4. One second. Another problem with it, and a lot of people will agree with me on this, Secret Wars, one of its biggest problems, especially with its tie-ins, was that the Secret Wars limited series suffered through heavy delays. As far as I know, Marvel has never explained these delays at all. So I'm thinking, no, okay, you let Hickman to write the series, fine. You could have at least allowed him to, I don't know, maybe allow him to leave his run for Avengers, allow somebody else to fill in for him while he does these 9 issues, which originally was supposed to be 8. Well, actually, first it was going to be 12, then they changed it to 8. Yes, it was 8. They were saying repeatedly, heck, even on the covers of the issues, it kept saying was like 2 of 8, 1 of 8, kept saying was 8 issues, but because of all the delays, they had to increase to 9 issues. Now, a few people think that the delay started after issue 4. That is completely untrue. The delay started after issue 5. Yes. Basically, the first 4 issues were released bi-monthly. Like the first 2 issues came out in May of last year, and then issues 3 and 4 came out in June. And you have in July, you have issue 5, which at that point the series was going to go monthly, and like finish up in just a few months. Like because of the fact that it was like it was gonna be like 5 more months, maybe it could finish by October-ish, like September, October. And then for some reason, well, they switched to monthly because people didn't like the fact it was bi-monthly, like coming twice a month. And then something very strange happened. Issue 6 was originally supposed to come out in the month of August. But the problem is issue 6 was not released in August. Issue 6 got released in the month of September. Like people were hoping that maybe, just maybe, issue 9 might come out in September. Nope, it didn't come out to January because of all the stupid delays. Yeah. So, the entire month of August went by. People were hoping issue 6 might come out of Secret Wars, and you were left wondering, what the heck? Where's Secret Wars number 6? And it comes out the next month. Like, maybe that Marvel forgot to release it or something. Like, still. And it's been 6 months since issue 9 that's been released. And Marvel has still not explained the delays. Some might say it's Hickman's fault. I highly doubt that because the guy can because if you look at prior to Secret Wars, can you think of any other time that he's been on a book and the book has suffered through delays? Honestly, no. The only book I can maybe think of is a series Shield, but at least that was released twice a month. That was released every couple months. At least that's how the format of the publication came out. But here's the thing. That didn't suffer through heavy delays. Okay, that series had to end because had to be put on hold because Hickman was doing other stuff. At least that had a reason why. This, no explained reason why for these delays. And not only the main series was delayed, but also several mini-series like Thor's, Hell Hydra, Ultimate End. The final issues were delayed because of the main event. Like, I think Ultimate End was because the fact it was coming out 5. I think it was, from what I can tell, It was probably supposed to originally come out in September, but because of all of the delays, the book was pushed. First to November, and then it kept getting pushed a lot. Like, a lot of people wondering, release this damn book already. Come on, release it. What the heck is taking it so long? And I don't blame Mark Bagley for the delay of the book. I blame Marvel. And I don't blame Bendis for it either. It's just that something happened at Marvel that caused these books to be delayed. It has been over a year since Secret Wars. Well, since the start of it. It has been 6 months also since the end of it. Marvel, to this day, has never explained the delays with this series. They've had delays before on events. I mean, this is like, what, the second time this has happened? Oh, excuse me, third. Yeah. But for mainstream ones, this only happened once. And that was for Civil War. And that was one issue. Forever Evil had one issue delay for that. But never, ever has Marvel had half of an event delayed for no explained reason. Yes, they have never had this problem before. Something must have happened this past August that caused, and I'm not kidding about this, and I explained this in my top 15 things that was wrong to happen last year, comics related, is that not only Secret Wars was delayed, like the main miniseries and a few limited series, but also several of the regular ongoing series they were still publishing. Series like Uncanny X-Men. Yeah, Uncanny X-Men suffered due delays. I would say probably the only books that probably didn't suffer through all these stupid delays was probably books like Amazing Spider-Man, Daredevil, Miss Marvel. I think maybe Howard the Duck didn't suffer delays. I mean, there were some books that did not, but only a small number of the mainstream books. I would say the one book, aside from Secret Wars, was Uncanny X-Men. Like, because Bendis was not only working on this, he was working on all new X-Men and Guardians of the Galaxy and, of course, the Ultimate stuff. But I keep thinking, though, why does Marvel allow him to write 6, 7 books at a time? You could, I don't know, tell him don't take on so much work. At least there's only one book of his that suffered through delays, not an entire miniseries. So, a lot of people can probably point the blame for the delays of Secret Wars. Maybe they can point fingers at Hickman, or they can point the fingers. Now, the covers were gorgeous by Alex Ross. Those were gorgeous. Or they can point it at Andy Kubert, who was the artist of the book. But honestly, it was Marvel Comics themselves, not the creative team of Secret Wars, that caused these delays. Look. Hickman had a good idea. Could he at least have some time before the first issue came out? Because I've heard this from Greg Weisman, that at one point last year, this was, I think it was in October, no, it was November last year, that before issue 1 came out for Starbrand Night Mask, he had already worked on the first 2 issues, and he was working on issue 3. So he was already working on the next issue. So I keep wondering, though, with Hickman working on these books, couldn't Marvel at least hold off on Secret Wars until at least Hickman got a few more issues to come out? Or at least delay the start of it a little bit? Like, don't release the start date of it yet. Just do something to give more time. And, yeah, delay is one of the biggest problems with it. Okay, number 5. The ending. And the other reviews people have given it. Okay, the ending was actually pretty decent, and It felt like an ending worthy of a Fantastic Four book, not a Marvel comic-wide event. Because Hickman paid a lot of respect to the Fantastic Four during this whole thing. I should also mention that during the entire thing, there was this one time because, well, Doctor Doom had killed Cyclops during it, like, maybe we could have Thanos versus Doctor Doom. This is something that's never happened. And instead, we have Doctor Doom just reaching into Thanos and ripping out his spine. I'm like, what the heck is that? Really? So you have a fight. Now, people don't like the saying that hero versus hero fight. But here's one different for you. What would you think if you had villain versus villain? Would you finally put the whole, don't do the whole hero versus hero thing to rest? Like, I wanted to see that, but no. And some people were giving the ending like a 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10, like give it high praise. Look, I thought it was a pretty decent conclusion. I mean, I gave a rating for it in my head. I gave the ending an 8 out of 10. It wasn't a 10. I mean, yeah, I took off 2 points because 1 wasn't perfect, and 2, I had problems with it, but I gave it an 8. Maybe an 8.5, but not a 10. Come on. And people have accused one particular reviewer, IGN, of how their reviews are basically bought by the company. They're paid for. Yeah. Alright. That's my 5th thing. Okay. And my 6th and last thing that I'm going to talk about before I end this. So basically, give you like 6 things wrong with Secret Wars. Jumping ahead 8 months later, and up until, let's say, maybe a few months ago, not bothering to explain what the heck happened during the 8 months. Like, we had it before even Secret Wars number 9 came out, that we see Doctor Doom in the pages of Invincible Iron Man, and apparently his face is perfectly normal. And some people are thinking, Secret Wars number 9 has not been released yet. Why? Because of the dang delays. Now, Marvel is slowly revealing what the heck happened during those 8 months. As far as I know, the only thing that happened during those 8 months, let's see. We got the introduction to Gwenpool. We have Spidey meeting Miles during those missing 8 months. We have recently also in the pages of the Vision, like how Vision got his family. Let's see, what else? Nope. As far as I can tell, that's... Oh, we also finally got an explanation recently of the origin of the Ultimates. We finally got an explanation for that. But those are the only thing that's been explained so far. As for everything else, like how did Parker Industries go big? How did Tony Stark's evilness get reversed? Like, what else happened in those 8 months? Like, also apparently Cyclops got killed. Okay, that is going to explain in the Death of X series, which is written by apparently Charles Shaw, Jeff Lemire, and I think maybe Colin Bunn. I think so, yes. I think it might be Colin Bunn, not Charles Shaw. But whoever's writing the Death of X series, they're finally going to explain what the heck happened to Cyclops and certain other X-Men that are not currently featured in the X-Men books. But yeah, the problem with not explaining what happened during those 8 months. I mean, the first thing I explained is the introduction of Gwenpool. So I think the reason why, that because of all the delays, they couldn't explain. But at the start of the year, I thought maybe like after Secret Wars, maybe they'll kind of start doing that. But no. I mean, I think that some of the books basically didn't start actually explaining what the heck happened during the missing 8 months until maybe, I don't know, February, March. Maybe even April for that matter. Yeah. It's like Marvel is way too slow to explain what the heck happened. Right? But that's all I gotta say about Secret Wars. So, stay tuned for more videos that I plan on doing for my channel. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. So, until I see you in my next video, whenever I get a chance to do it, until then, see you there. Bye.